Welcome everyone to the Best Damn Podcast on YouTube, where we talk all things Survivor. We got we got a double elimination. We got there's so much. Okay, sorry, I forgot to do the actual intro. I'm Dave. With me as always, my mom.
Hello.
We are discussing Game of Chicken. Whew.
Whew.
I'm sure I'm okay. So I wrote down 3 quick headlines I was going to use in my intro, but I've already screwed it up. I was going to say Jeff's favorite challenge ever, and I'll get into why when we get to there. We've got flushing of idol talk, and we have a double elimination. You put those 3 things in an episode, you've got an episode that is 50% tribal council.
I know, right? It was funny because I did that. I paused it and I went, oh, look how much time's left. This is going to be good. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that later because anytime there's tribal council just slightly earlier than I think in my head, I always hit pause and go, 26 minutes left, and they're just walking into, like it's always that shot of them in the line walking along the beach, and they've all just teed up the, I don't know what we're gonna do tonight. I guess I'll decide along the way. And bum 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 and commercial break. And I'm like, how much longer is left in the wow. Okay. Yeah. So this episode's called Game of Chicken. We will get into who says it when they say it. How about that? I'm gonna leave this one because
that sounds good.
It's important when they say it. So when it happens, it needs to be addressed at that time.
Yes.
So we get the tribe comes back from tribal, like my favorite nighttime scene. And
we do.
What happens, Mom? What happens? Give it to us straight.
You know, Romeo, okay. I wrote down a few people's names. Under Romeo, I describe him as desperate. Okay.
Oh, I would say too big for his britches.
Well, on that too, but he comes back now. Keep in mind here in the vote at tribal, he was the vote for High.
He was.
Yeah, he was, because
that surprised me when I saw High. I was like, High, and they put it in the first part, so it was like 1-1-1. So a brief second, I was like, wait, what's going on? And then the vote changed.
I figured Chanel did it. Okay, I just did because she did that weird mic vote, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But no, it was Romeo, and I was like, okay. So he gets back to camp, and of course, High is like, all right, who voted for me? And he goes to Tori, which is fair, and Tori's like, hey, I voted Chanel. And then he's like, oh, I know, it was Romeo, right? And he starts talking to everybody, and they're all like, no, I voted Chanel. No, I voted Chanel, and Romeo's just not fessing up. And I'm thinking, buddy, okay, I mean, you're on the bottom. What are you doing? I thought it was crazy.
Can I discuss his talking head?
Please do.
Because that's when Romeo clears everything up. And he seems a little bit more intelligent than I thought. He's like, do you want to know why I voted for High? Because I knew he'd unravel when he saw his name on the parchment. And I was like, damn. I mean, you can question the should he have done it or not, and that's a valid argument. I mean, comments down below, please share, and subscribe. Really helps out. I always forget to say that. But man, when he gave that reasoning for why he wrote High's name down, I'm like, that's a pretty accurate read, because High is very similar. Maybe he's been hanging around with Mike too long, because Mike did the same thing in like episode 4 when he's like, yeah, Chanel wrote my name down. Don't trust her anymore. She's dead to me.
Yeah, he didn't let it go. Did not let it go.
So High reminded me of that scene with Mike. Was just like, yep, that is not necessarily the straw that broke the camel's back, because I feel like it takes less for Mike than even a straw to break. It's like the sound of a pin drop. Mike's like, you're out.
Oh, I know. Right?
Right? Like, Oh
Uh,
man, he cuts ties so quickly.
he's
But
the
yeah,
only one I didn't have a comment on. I have a comment on all the other men.
keep it going.
Well,
I
no,
just
no,
loved his talking head because it surprised me. But continue.
no, they're all just kind of, they will come up as we go through it.
Okay, so is
Yeah.
there anything else you want to say before the next morning where business starts to pick up?
No, I think it
Okay,
was. I think Romeo made a huge mistake, but then on the other hand, maybe he didn't, knowing
quick,
what happens later.
fair enough. Quick
Right?
thing from previous in the season. No one's chilling on the beach at sunrise anymore. I've noticed
No.
that is not a thing anymore. They've either edited those scenes out or they're not happening.
Well, it seems pretty cool there. It doesn't seem like they're having real warm weather.
That's true.
I
There's
think
been a couple scenes where it looks like they've watched sunsets or sunrises and
yeah,
they're living the dream.
I think they're hanging out at the fire.
Fair
And
enough.
I'm starting to wonder if all of them are doing the raw buddy system, right? Let's not let anybody walk away. Let's just keep it all together here.
If
You
that
know?
was well, I mean, well, that's the thing Roxroy brings up the next morning. That's actually a great segue into the next thing I'm going to talk about. Roxroy's at the well talking to Mike and Jonathan, and he's like, who gets up first thing in the morning, goes get firewood, or goes spearfishing, or tends to the fire? He's like, us three. What do? Sit there and wait for us to do it. Oh,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
uh-oh.
Hang on.
We've run into this before. I'm not going to edit this out. Sorry, YouTube. She will be back
Okay,
momentarily.
so I have something to ask you. It says your browser has lost connection to your camera. Make sure you have the right camera selected, blah, blah, blah.
Didn't we run into this problem before where your
Yeah,
camera
it says it might be Zoom or Skype, but I don't even have those, I don't think. Restart your browser
the last
or
time you just closed something, didn't you?
I don't know what I could close.
I wish I could remember what last time was the issue because this happened last time and it was a quick fix. Um, you could close your browser and restart, no problem. I can kind of edit this out and put something in. It's not a big deal, or I could leave it in. I don't care. Sorry about the content. I can continue. I don't want this to be too much dead air. I don't know how riveting this is right now, but I can still hear you. Oh, okay. So she'll be right back. I have to change some graphics around so you can see me. Oh, why is my picture so bad? Why is my picture so bad? I'm gonna have to edit this all out, aren't I? I'm editing this all out. It's like 18 minutes. Okay.
Yeah,
Hey, okay. My video gets worse when I'm full screen.
sorry about
Just
that.
that's okay. Did you just close your browser and reopen?
Yeah, and I
Okay.
don't know. I'll do some research and figure out why that's happening.
That's okay. I'll leave it in.
At least I haven't had
I'll
one
put
main issue.
a like I'll edit in like a video clip of me or not. I'm lazy. Or I'd be like, hey, it's gonna screw up for about a minute. This could be unentertaining. I'm gonna put a timestamp in the thing. Or everyone
Or if any
everyone just got treated to a little bit behind the scenes yeah, definite technical difficulties.
if any viewer has any comments that may help me on this, I'd appreciate them.
We will definitely dive into this after.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
Anyway,
where are
I'm
we on
back.
now? So they're all at the well, and
Yeah.
Roxroy gives his elevator pitch for an all guy alliance, and
Yeah.
I love his like 2 sentence pitch. Do you remember
Yeah.
what it was?
How many dudes are there? How many women are there?
That's it. Question mark, and he just goes,
I'm like,
"You
fight.
get it?" And I'm like, "What?"
Like, what? Like,
Like
what?
there was no he didn't talk about people that have alliances, people that had
Yeah,
relationships,
no.
reasons why people
It
might
didn't
be
celebrate.
against that idea. Would any guy talk to one of the girls? He just eventually woke up one day and goes, "Huh, there's more guys than girls." And it's
Maybe
like
we should do this.
I'm like, "Come on, Roxroy, people have been trying to talk to you about strategy for episodes now." And he's been like, "We're not even going to tribal yet. Like, why are we talking about this now? We got like 6 hours." And everyone's like, "Ah, Roxroy." And now he's like, "Why won't anyone listen to me?" Kills me. Kills me.
Who knows?
What did you think of everyone's reaction to the pitch? Because that's what
Well,
happens next.
I because well, I like the way they all went. Oh yeah, good idea. Oh yeah,
I love
really.
that too.
Oh yeah.
I'll think about
Oh, I'm
that. I'll
in.
think
I
about
got
that.
your back.
Okay. Okay. I'll get back to
Yeah,
you on that.
yeah, that's great. Yeah, why don't we
Don't
do
don't
that?
call me. I'll call you. I'll have my
Yeah.
people be in touch with your people. Okay.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh.
Oh, my camera's
I
messed
was
up again.
like,
I know the fix.
ah, yeah. I don't know. They lied through their teeth back to him. Oh, now Dave's gone, but he'll be back. I certainly hope. Anyway, I was just yeah, I don't know. Guy alliances don't work. Maybe that's why you shouldn't do them. I don't know. I don't know. But
Whoa,
yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa. Okay.
Oh, okay, I'm me. Cool.
I don't know what just happened there.
I don't either. I
Okay.
kind of like it though. It's entertaining.
Oh my God, 2 Daves. I'm seeing double. Yeah,
Yeah, 2 days. It's like,
two
whoa,
days.
you
Yeah.
don't have 2 days now, do you?
Well, they're all on the bottom, but I removed him from stream and I've muted the mic, so there shouldn't be any like audio
Wow,
issues.
you
Yeah.
actually have 2 days. Okay, all right.
Yeah, a little bit of back end. He got removed eventually. It was a bit of a glitch.
What's
Okay.
what's it like having a clone?
Annoying.
Okay, all right. Enough said. Um, so we go goes very quickly
Well,
after.
I was going to discuss more about the people that didn't
Oh,
like
do
the
it.
guys alliance. Omer
Oh,
and
do it.
High are like, wait, what?
Wait, what?
Homer or like High even said at one point he doesn't even consider it. Well, I think he said I don't consider myself a guy, but I'm pretty sure what he meant is like macho or
A guy.
yeah, yeah, one
Yeah,
the kind of guy that Mike, Jonathan, and
yeah,
Roxroy are. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, Omer's not a fan of it either.
Well, no, that would really he can't beat them in challenges. He can't control them, which is
Yeah.
his whole game is about control. So he
Yeah, he
knows
can't go to the final five with them because he's like, I'm not beating that final
no,
five
he's got
challenge and
where's
making
he
that decision.
going? He knows he would be on the bottom of that alliance.
So does he take Jonathan that far?
Ah,
That's a question I wrote down in my notes right here. Because when he said that, I was like, how far is he planning on taking Jonathan if everything goes his way at this point? I
probably not
just
that far.
just a question. Again, let us know in the comments down below.
I
Um,
don't think far.
fair enough. So I kind of just realized, oh no, we haven't been talking that long. And that's
No.
actually what I wrote in my notes here after this commercial break. Did you want to do your commercial
Oh,
break
okay.
moment right now?
Sure. Why not? It's going to be short because Liam and Jess were not here due to, well, I'm just going to say it. They tested positive. Okay.
Well, not
So
Liam.
not Liam, but Jess
We
and
could we
her.
could we can say COVID protocol. They've been entered into Liam and Rory have
Yeah.
been entered into COVID protocol, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, they're in isolation. So I just got a quick text saying, yeah, we aren't going to make it over because we're sick. I was like, oh, all right. So anyway, I do my normal thing. I clean my house. I've been having trouble with my cable. Anyway, I got it recorded and I'm like, okay. So I sat down and I got comfy and I'm
Camera again.
watching, and the first commercial in Survivor comes on and I'm thinking, oh, nobody's here. I can fast forward through the commercials. Nobody's going to yell at me. I
Mm-hmm.
have never had a worse idea. You okay?
Yep,
There
I
you
got it
are.
under control now. No, I figured it
Okay.
out. I figured it out. I fixed it without dual Daves. Got it.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I'm thinking I can fast forward through commercials. This is going to be awesome. It's going to take me less time. I can make some notes. It's all going to be
Yeah, I can
good.
watch it in
Yeah.
probably the same time it takes to watch it
Yeah.
live with commercials. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I fast forward and now I know why they don't let me touch the remote. Every single time I had to rewind because I missed the play button and I messed things up. And a couple of times I actually took it right out of the program, had to get back in. It was an actual nightmare. And now I see where they're coming from.
Now, this is probably the first commercial break moment, or I don't know what we've officially decided to call this segment, but I actually
Right?
have a little bit of advice if you wouldn't mind me.
Oh, I would please do.
When you fast forward, you just hit the fast forward button and it goes 2, 3, 4 times fast, right? Or do you hit the skip ahead button?
There's a skip ahead button.
Yeah, well, depending on what remote you have, we can get into this later, but there is a button that's on either side of the fast forward and rewind button that looks like a little bit of a different. Okay, we'll get into this right now. Great content. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't have those.
Okay. Well, maybe it's an older mode. We can get into it after the pod. We can go a little bit lower. Which one are you skipping ahead with? Like, which button are you? Oh, okay. Go lower. Like, hold it up higher, I guess. Okay. I'll after this, or if anyone knows, leave comments down below and we'll get I'll figure it out after this. But
This might all
there's
change. I do
there's
have
a
a
skip
cable
ahead
guy.
button that goes ahead 30 seconds, and if you go the skip behind button, it goes 15 seconds back. So
Okay.
you can I've learned the actual I just hit it 5 times and then once back, and it's
That's
almost perfect every time.
okay. Now I do have the cable guy coming out next Tuesday. So
Oh, get a new
hopefully,
remote. Yeah.
hopefully I'll get a new PVR, a new remote. Problem.
That's an older remote. That's an older remote.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
I am
So
okay.
yeah, the new remote will be a game changer.
Anyway,
So yeah,
so
after the commercial break, it goes right to the challenge.
the challenge.
And like, how quick into this episode does it go right into the challenge? Blew my mind.
I know. I thought, oh wow, that was yeah, okay. All right.
Do you
But then
remember
I
what
thought,
the oh sorry.
well, then I thought, because I did see the previews. I'm on Facebook all the time, etc. And I did see a preview. I knew there was going to be two necklaces, and I thought, oh, they're going to have two tribals. Yeah, they got to get into this.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so they did.
And I was expecting Jeff to talk to camera here because he's done it so much. I was expecting him to be like, what they don't know is 2 necklaces, baby. And he just, didn't do it. Just gets right down to
I
brass tacks. Did you write down what the reward was? Because this was also a food challenge.
It was kebabs, uh,
Kebabs.
beef or meat and veggie kebabs that you cook yourself at camp.
It seemed like they just put everything on leaves and ate it in like bowl form. It's what it
Oh, they
seemed like.
had
The
ice
winning
cream
team, but
kebabs.
I won't get into what the winning team is. But did you write down the 2 teams?
I did, but
Okay,
I think I
you can
remember them.
what?
I just remember them because they
Oh,
were
okay.
pretty easy the way
You
they ended
you
up.
say team one, and I'll say the other team.
Team one, which one's that?
Name whichever full team you can, and I'll name the other.
Oh, okay. So one of them is Roxroy, Mike, Hi, Romeo, and and Homer.
Oh, Omer. So the other team was Marianne, Lindsay, Tori, Jonathan, and Drea.
Yes.
So it's a challenge we've seen a bunch before. You're sitting on a tiny pyramid just anchored to the bottom of the shore,
Ocean.
but they did another one of those challenges where I think they picked it specifically when the water was going to be rough. Like they wanted
Right?
they
Well,
yeah, same thing like the
I'm
latter
starting
one.
because, like I said, they sit around the fire a lot because I think they're cold. I think global warming, whatever you climate change,
Climate
is
change. Yeah.
maybe coming into play here. Their water challenges are really rocky this season. Maybe it's the time of year they film. Maybe they're trying to catch up because they didn't film for how long. Who knows? But anyway, water is definitely rough for this challenge.
Were you surprised at who kind of like how the challenge went? Because I kind of liked this challenge, but the reason why I said earlier Jeff's favorite challenge was it's one of those endurance challenges that didn't go long. Jeff didn't have to be out there in the elements for too long filming
I
this.
know, right?
It's a quick gig. It's a quick gig. He gets on
Right.
stage, does his quick five, and gets off. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wrote down challenge and I wrote down that went quick, and that's all my notes say. I could
So
not. Four people fell off in the first what 5 seconds.
5 seconds. Yeah, they show them one after another.
Like,
I did write down what the last four were. So the idea is the two teams of five. The It came down to one of the two of each of five were going to get a necklace. They were going to be safe, but the last one surviving got to get the kebabs.
got the
And
reward for their whole
and
team.
so High ended up being the last one on his team. And then it came down to Lindsay and Jonathan on the other side.
Yeah, Lindsay was going
Lindsay,
to get.
Jonathan, and High were all fighting hard. It was
Let
impressive.
me tell you, that did not look easy. I mean, that was like trying to stand up on a roller coaster.
I've heard I've heard opinions online where people are like, "Well, Jonathan had that challenge. He's just giant. Like, does the wind even affect him? He's just a skyscraper."
Well, you would think it
I
would
don't
affect
know.
him more. If he had been standing up, he would have been blown over. He had the forethought to crunch down,
Yeah, but
right?
he's
And he
got the
had the
kind of muscle mass that is the same amount of wind that's going to knock High over, or Romeo is going to be the same amount of wind that knocks Jonathan over. I don't know.
well, I kind of figured Jonathan was a bigger target, therefore he'd go easier. I figured a skinnier person like me, the wind would just kind of go around you as long as you could keep your balance.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
That's my
Okay.
okay. That was my
If there's any physicists in the comments, I'd love to hear from
theory.
you because I'd
Well,
be curious. So
I'm
I
just
mean, yeah, the challenge goes quick. Jonathan and High end up getting
I was
necklaces.
really sad when Lydia didn't make it. I wanted her
Lindsay,
to win that.
Lindsay,
Lindsay.
yeah. Well, because
Yeah.
then Jonathan like this is his first individual immunity for someone that everyone thinks is a giant physical threat. Like
You do know
technically,
why.
the more physical threats would be High, Lindsay, or Tori at this point.
Do you know why he won that challenge?
Well, you're saying, yeah, he lumped over, he's big, he's heavy.
No. Why he had the incentive?
Why?
Food.
Oh,
There was no way he was
he wanted
going.
those kebabs.
Mentally, he had a picture of 18 eggs and what is it, 9 pounds of bacon or whatever.
Nine pieces. He said nine pieces of
Pieces of
cheese,
cheese.
not slices. So it's like, how big does he consider a piece? And then he said grits. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure that's the picture he had in his head.
So yeah, we get High and Jonathan get their necklaces. But the tribe that gets to have the kebabs have to go to.
No,
Oh
the
no
other
no
tribe
the
goes back
losing
to
tribe goes to
Cancun.
the old Taku tribe.
Yeah, and winners go back to their own tribe, their own.
Kula Kula. Yeah.
Yeah, Kula Kula.
I liked everyone's faces when they get back to Taku. They're like, and they ask Omer like, so this is where you lived, eh? And he's like, yep. You know what I mean? Like, I remember this place. You know,
I
it's
know,
like
right? Like,
5 days ago
"Oh,
or something like
do
that.
I
But
have to be back here?"
so then we get, and the beauty of the tribe that gets sent to Old Taku is, keep in mind, it's Romeo, High, Omer, Roxroy, and Mike. So it's the all guy alliance that Roxroy wanted, except we don't have Jonathan involved, and one of us has to go. Oh
Yeah,
man.
but they never invited Romeo into the guys' alliance.
Well, that's why, yeah, I wrote it here in my notes. Romeo thinks it's him. And I says, but Omer tries to swing it to Roxroy.
He does because he can't use his persuasive powers on Roxroy and control him. So
He's
he
he's
becomes an
immune to his persuasive ways.
imminent
He's yeah.
danger.
Yeah.
Okay, is all Omer saw. He was like, danger,
I'm
Rob.
Medusa. I can't turn him to stone. That's a problem. Got to deal with that.
Got to
Yeah.
deal with that.
Yeah.
So why don't we vote him out? And in the meantime, of course, Mike and Roxy are like, hey, bro, we're good. Yeah, bro, I'm not writing your name down. I'm not writing your name down. Mike gives his word.
See, I think with Mike, and on one hand, I respect his, like, I gave him my word, can't go back on that. Like, I get that. But a
Mhm.
part of me on the other hand is like, Mike, people just get to you first. Like, the first person that gets you to agree on something, then you just make a deal and sign in blood. And I'm like, you didn't talk to me first? That's why I thought it was weird when High was like, I can't go along with this plan, Omer, just yet. I gotta talk to Mike. If I betray Mike, I'm dead. Like, I am dead in this game if Mike says no to what
Okay,
I'm suggesting.
but when he
Which I
does
was
go,
like, that's smart, High. That's smart.
when
But
he
when he,
does go,
sorry, yeah.
Mike says, okay, if we do that, nobody's going to trust us anymore because we're betraying all of our alliance.
Which is kind of trash because the only that alliance was just Roxroy was gets up at the same time as Mike. Like, you know what I mean? If anyone was like as hardworking as Roxroy, you would have more FaceTime with Mike. And
Yes.
and the only reason the all guy alliance was a thing was because they're all hard
No, I think
workers. They all
no.
got
Mike
up at the
was
same time
talking.
and went to the well at the same time.
Mike was talking about the 8-person alliance. He was talking about the people that weren't there. He was talking about more
Oh,
like,
how like a Drea would react. How would
yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah. And he's like, all those people, we're going to be in trouble because all those people are not going to trust us. And you know what? I believe that. I think they're going to be in a little bit of hot water next week.
That's an interesting because yeah, I guess I must have missed that very obvious part
Well,
about
you
that
could
where I
take it
didn't
either
kind
way.
of put that two and two together, but
Yeah.
I thought he was just like, yeah, no one's gonna trust us, but I didn't realize exactly what he was worried about. But
Mhm.
you know, we'll get to that. Um,
Mhm.
back at the Kula Kula camp, everyone's eating, enjoying their food. I think
This
Jeff
was
undersold the kebabs again, just like
oh,
the
totally.
stew. Yep.
This was the funniest part of the show to me.
Really?
I
Okay.
actually had to pause and laugh, for a while, tears
Oh,
coming down my face at
take
one
us into
point.
it. Take us into it. Okay. Kula
Okay, because
Kula
they're all
camp.
doing a thing, and Jonathan is wearing the immunity necklace and he's with 4 women. And all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, I have an idea. I'm gonna come up with a plan. I'm gonna execute this plan perfectly. I'm gonna make a big move." So, and I thought at that point, I thought, wow, maybe he does have a brain. Maybe he does.
Wow. Yep, I totally agree with everything you're saying, word for word. Continue. Yeah.
As soon as he starts talking to anybody, and I think it was Marianne first, I went, oh no, maybe he doesn't have a brain.
Yeah. When he's like, now's my chance. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, my first instinct was like same as you. I was like, okay, maybe without Omer here, maybe Jonathan's like learned something. Okay, let's see what you got, Jono. Like, what do you got? And then he says his plan, and I'm just like, wait, what? But
Wait,
continue.
what?
We won't even. We're not gonna pop that balloon until Lindsay does. So let's build up to that because I loved that moment. But continue.
So he has this whole plan, and the part I
What
particularly
is his plan actually? What is
well,
his plan?
his plan is get Drea. Okay. So, and he tells Marianne that Drea needs to feel safe because she has an idol. I don't want her to play it. So we're going to blindside her and we're going to tell her we're voting for you. And Marianne was like, oh, yeah, okay. And then Marianne has a talking ahead going, idol? They're voting people out with idols?
No, that was a Drea conversation. That comes a little bit
Oh,
later. She immediately goes and tells Tori.
Marianne did it
Oh,
too. She had
Marianne
a
has one
talking
too.
head
Shoot, I gotta
where
pay
she
attention to
was
that.
like, I'm a little afraid now because I have an idol. Yeah. And she goes and she tells Tori. And Tori's like, oh, I kind of like this plan. My name is not up for being booted out. Drea goes home. Yeah, I'm in. I'm totally in. Yeah, I'm good. But then Jonathan has to get everybody on board. So who does he
I
go
cannot wait for
to?
this scene. Okay, continue. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I paused it, rewound, and actually laughed out loud. Continue.
Oh, I know. So anyway, he goes to Lindsay and he explains his plan to Lindsay and how they're going to split the votes between. Now, keep in mind, in his plan, Drea goes home with her idol and Marianne
Marianne doesn't.
stays
Yeah,
with her idol. She stays and then
because she trusts him so much, and it's the
they
Taku
still have it,
Four. Yeah,
so it's they're all good. Okay, it's all good. Taku 4 is safe. So Lindsay, I mean, she listens to this, right? And she goes, well, if Drea does play her idol, uh, Marianne's going to go home with her idol. Shouldn't we have some kind of a backup plan, like, or maybe I can get Tori to go to Drea and say it's Marianne that's going home and make her feel safe. Jonathan immediately started mansplaining.
this this is, if I can interject here and maybe mansplain some things. This
Please
is
do.
this is the point in the episode where I lost a lot of confidence points in Jonathan. This is
It's
when I
where I
was
laugh.
like, okay, Jonathan, I know you've been portrayed in a good light and you've been a good guy so far, but this was the moment where I was like, you're not listening. You are in over your head at this point trying to play a social game on Omer levels, but he is not there yet. He's not even at Romeo levels, and he's trying to pull off a coup with 4 girls. Come on,
I have
Jonathan. I was like, damn it, I used to
I just
like you.
my favorite scene of the whole thing was when Lindsay pointed out to him and he sits there and he goes, oh, maybe we should think about that for a minute.
Okay. My favorite part, if you go back and rewatch it, I wish I had made the clip on my phone, but the cameraman like almost was waiting for Lindsay to say it, where the whole time they're having this conversation, the cameraman's like, oh, Jonathan doesn't get it. Jonathan doesn't get it. Come on, Jonathan, figure it out. Lindsay's explaining it to you. And suddenly you have this like Jonathan looks off into the distance, like, and it's almost 10 solid seconds of dead air. And he goes, maybe we should talk about that. And I'm like, oh my God. So here's my theory as to why Jonathan made the plan he did. Okay, here's my guess as to
Oh,
why
I'd love
he
to hear
said
it. Please.
Marianne.
Mansplain me.
No, I'm just thinking as to what maybe his mindset was, because his plan is terrible, but I'll tell you why he thought it was good.
Okay.
I think in order to flush, like I think his brain was like, in order to flush out Drea's idol, I need to tempt Drea with flushing out another idol. That's why he said
Yeah.
that's why he said Marianne instead of anybody else. Or he
Right.
just doesn't like Marianne as much as Lindsay, because there's been episodes where he's been annoyed by Marianne,
No, I
but
think you're right. I think that was his.
I think he literally, but I
That
think
makes
that
sense.
is all the thought that went into his idea. I think
Yeah.
that's it. I
He
think
didn't
he
go any
stopped
further.
there and was like, done, period. Everyone
This
just
is
has to
gonna
listen
work.
to me. Problem solved, guys. I figured it out. I figured it out. I know how many triangles there are. 18. Homer's like, you mean like I've got 38 so far? What are you talking about? Oh, okay. You guys got this. I'll go make a fire, collect some firewood. Yeah. But
Right.
he showed that 18 or however many triangles he found self right now. Oh
It
man,
wasn't pretty.
it annoyed me because I liked him so much. Okay,
I know.
so I mean, essentially, yeah, Lindsay and Tori get into a huge fight just because Jonathan is so stubborn and he doesn't realize that Drea and
Yeah,
Tori would talk, or he thinks they hate each other. Whatever.
I know.
He doesn't know what's going on. It came shining
Not a
through.
clue.
And then we get to the point where they all walk on the beach with their torches. And like we talked about this off camera, where we paused the video and we're like, how much
All of a
travel
sudden, there's
time,
20
please?
minutes
What?
left, and there's two tribals. I'm
What?
like, what?
Like that's normally one live tribal, maybe, right? You know, like one live tribal, but two?
That
Okay.
is one. That 20 minutes is one lit up tribal.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. The first tribal, and spoiler alert, it's kind of uneventful. I think the first tribal was very short compared to the second, but
Well, yeah.
so
I'm not sure I liked the outcome, but I think it had to happen, and I knew it was going to.
it was entertaining TV. I was kind of like, even though the first tribal was a little bit predictable, and we'll just about to get into it, I was still on the edge of my seat for a good 25 minutes, and I was very, very entertained. So
Totally.
Romeo, High, Mike, Roxroy, and Omer show up to for I think one of the first very rainy tribals of the season.
Hmm.
There was like you could see it in the
And
background when they
cold.
zoomed out,
They're
rain everywhere.
shivering. They're just shivering.
High is cold.
Wow, a
And
few of
so
them were.
High kind of complains a bit. What did you think about High's complaining? Being like, watching on TV is great. Being here sucks.
Well, he's being honest.
But Omer decides they have edited in a little tiny speech from Omer where he's like, it's the tough things that get you through life, man. I know it sucks now, but the payoff's going to be huge. And I'm like, Omer is creeping higher and higher and higher on my, either he's going to win it all, or in final five people are going to be like, I'm not going to the end with that guy. Like him and Mike are almost tied for the lead in that race in my head.
Okay, we'll talk that later. But anyway,
So Jeff brings up the conditions in the weather, and what it as soon as Roxroy is like, you know what, Jeff, no one really scrambled today, we
no,
all
no,
just sort of chilled. I'm
yeah, it
like,
was cool. And I'm like,
Roxroy.
oh, buddy,
Oh, honey,
what were you
that's
doing? What were you doing?
no.
Were you getting firewood, getting food? You didn't bother. You thought you did your two sentences of gameplay, and that was going to get you through it.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god, that is the like I can jump that far. Like it's that kind of a stupid thing a guy says where it's like we should start a band. It's just it's up there with, you know what? I feel completely safe and I haven't had to do any work to get there. No, no, man, come on.
I don't,
Like, this is gonna be really sad. Like,
did
you're
I
gonna
miss
have to sit on the jury and watch the other tribal council.
did I miss something in his profile? I mean, apparently he has not watched a lot of Survivor.
Actually, I should
I
go
can't
back
remember.
and look at some of those because it doesn't
Yeah,
seem
not right
like
now.
he's seen a lot of it.
No, it
These
doesn't.
young people don't
Anyway,
do anything. I'm like, oh man, when did you start watching? Like season 30?
oh,
Um,
wait,
so then what?
wait.
Yeah,
You said young people. Okay, I do have one more comment at the very beginning of the show. I did
okay.
not like Romeo calling Mike 100 years old. I took offense to that
I
because
noticed that too. I noticed that too, and I was like, no, Mike's a good guy, but that kind of plays into the edit of
as
the episode where they make certain characters out to be villains at the right moment in time, or
anyway, yeah,
So Roxbury ends up going. I mean,
yeah,
what
they
were
end
the
up.
guys gonna do? I will say Mike
Did you look at
looks
all the votes? Do you know how that vote went?
Romeo, Roxroy, 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 Roxroy. That's how the
Yeah,
votes went. They
they
only read
all
out
voted.
3 Roxroys, but it's 4-1.
All four of them voted Roxroy. At that point, if I was Mike, I think I would have gone Romeo because three was enough to get Roxroy out. I think I would have stayed true to the other
Oh,
tribe, to
interesting.
my other allies. I don't know, and true to Roxroy because now Roxroy's on the freaking jury. What are
You
you
don't think
doing?
High would feel betrayed that you tried to save face and throw him
How
under
would
the
he know?
bus?
How would he know? There's only three votes. How would he know
Yeah,
who voted?
but you've seen High after a
They
tribal
only,
council where
they only,
votes
they
didn't go
only,
exactly how he thought.
they only showed three.
Correct.
He wouldn't have known. He would not have known. Oh, Mike, can you
Assuming
say
Mike knows that only one person, like, that's a lot of trust to hope Jeff doesn't read yours or hope someone doesn't recognize your handwriting.
oh,
That's
I
a
would have done it, man. I would
that's
have
a
done
Oh, no, but everyone writes different. Like, I guarantee I'd be staying up nights in Survivor being like a handwriting analysis.
just
Like,
wait. And I would have said to Hi, I just want you to know I voted Romeo to try and save face with the other people. I know you needed to do what you did, but now we can work as a team again and go back and be okay.
that's a
That's
lot
what
of
I would
trust that High doesn't feel betrayed. But I do see your point. If High goes, you know what, smart move, we're still in this together, then it's a great idea. If High goes, you lied to me, things change, right? It's all
yeah,
about how someone else perceives your moves. Mike does looks like he feels terrible about the vote.
I'm pretty sure he does.
He does feel bad, but then again, Mike, you made that like early in the morning just because Roxbury talked to you first, and you didn't talk to High first. You didn't confer. You were just like, yeah, me, Roxbury, Jonathan. Oh, yeah, that's not
Before the what do they call it? End of the season thing. Refresh my
reunion.
memory. Reunion.
Reunion. Arc, you were
Okay.
close. Yeah.
I bet you that comes up.
Oh,
They talked to
definitely.
Mike. Yeah, I bet. I
That'll
mean,
that'll be the Jeff question to Roxroy is the All Guys Alliance, or and we're about to get into it, so I'm gonna do my disclaimer, or it could be
please do.
racially charged, let's say.
Yeah, please.
So Roxroy gets his torch snuffed, gets told to get moved over to the jury, and obviously
Chanel
I'm
and him
gonna
are sitting there.
what? Oh yeah, Chanel and
Chanel,
Omar are now on the jury when
well,
the
Chanel,
other tribe walks in. Roxroy. What did I say? Not Roxroy. Anyway. So Chanel
and
and Roxbury are on the jury. The other team walks in, and who's the first person from the other team to walk in? Drea.
Drea going.
I wish I could have screenshotted that because that looked like someone just like Jeff was just like surprise and punched her in the gut before she walked into tribal. She
And
did not know.
every person looked like that.
Yeah, but I'm not
Not,
gonna
I
lie. I
was
feel like Drea's was genuine because she's so unemotional sometimes.
I don't know.
Marianne acts that way every single episode. Oh
Well, no,
my god, this guy
but
got blown out. Not Daniel. It's like, come on,
I think
Marianne, you
Drea
didn't even
was
know.
like, my first thought was, I think she's upset because she's lost a number.
Right. Yes. But
Did you do your disclaimer?
oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah. As you can tell, when both our cameras are working, we are white. We are not African American. We'll essentially kind of take the same stance as Lindsay here, where we're not going to pretend to understand. The kind of only opinion or maybe vantage point we have is from our perspective. But yeah, I mean, do you have anything you want to add before we just go into it? So we're
I
legit going to
have,
try and talk about not necessarily race as little as possible,
I have,
but
I
as
have,
respectful as possible.
yeah, I have a lot of empathy for everything that was said by, in particular, Marianne and as well Drea. Um, and I think, well, yeah, I'm
Okay, so
not a
hold on. Let
racist.
me just go into the facts and we'll dive into our opinions in a second. So the facts
Oh,
are everyone sits down, Drea has a big reaction. Jeff asks her about it, like, hey, how do you feel? And Drea, I like kind of Drea's answer where she's like looking at Jeff, and she even did it like I think 4 episodes ago, where Jeff asked her a question at Tribal, and she was like, wait, what? Like, what?
I don't know.
I don't. And so Drea just goes, I don't know how I feel about this at the moment. I am. The calculations are still going through on like I still have a loading screen in my brain.
Yeah,
I haven't come to a like full thought trying to process this. Um and then it gets really heavy.
yeah, it does.
And like what so Drea brings up a lot of things.
It does.
And it reminds me a lot of last season. I don't want to spoil too much of last season. If you haven't seen like season 41, you can
But
go
we're
and
gonna
watch me
spoil a
and
bit. It's
what?
out there, and we're gonna spoil it a bit
A bit.
because out
But
there, and
but
any Survivor fan should have seen it by now.
I was actually going to use this opportunity to pose because me and my brother recorded an entire review of that season episode by episode. You can find it on this channel. Please like, share, and
Certainly can.
subscribe again. But yeah, last season, and I remember when they did this last season where they did sort of an all black alliance, and I was I remember saying, and you can probably find video of this in the internet, talking to my brother, I'm like, any sort of all guy alliance, all girl alliance, all old people, young people, whatever sort of dichotomy you want to sort of be
Yeah,
like, we're the cool kids, we're the nerdy kids, we're the,
yeah,
skinny boys, we're the whatever. You can,
yeah.
there's been plenty of attempts at tribes kind of
East
having.
Braun Beauty.
Exactly, right? Eventually they all turn on each other. And I remember saying this last season, as soon as that tribe got formed and they all wanted to do the movement thing, which I totally respect. It's just I just had it in my head that I didn't think it was gonna work because not many like it was a I'm looking at it from purely a survivor based perspective where a alliance built that early at that moment there was a lot of advantages in play. Like there
Yeah,
was people without votes,
yeah,
like, and a couple things go differently. That alliance can run the table. If Leona doesn't get fooled by Xander's fake idol, like the whole thing changes. So I don't think it's fair to maybe talk. Well, I'm not saying not talk about race, but to make it such a focal point because I've
yeah,
always thought of Survivor as a bit of like a strainer. It boils kind of things down to its sort of just bare minimum. Like take
yes,
away everything, electricity, like
yeah,
toothpaste,
yeah,
just putting you on the island with strangers, like a roof
yeah,
over your head. It takes away everything, and
yeah,
kind of what's left. whatever your opinion of it is, whether like whatever it is, it's kind of, yeah, it is what it is. That's what's left. That's kind of my
Yeah,
opinion. I just wanted to
yeah,
say that before. That's kind of
yeah.
how I felt.
But the thing is, and we all know what happened at Tribal, right? Drea turned it totally into a race issue. She said she was upset because Roxroy was there, and now there was two of her people sitting there. Now, I just want to remind people because I went back to last episode
Oh,
and
right.
Drea voted Chanel out.
Didn't have this opinion last week, did she? Or 2 days
No,
ago?
and
2 days
I'm
ago?
like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm listening and I am sympathetic. I'm empathetic. I understand what you've been through. But on the other hand, she is literally the richest survivor ever.
Yeah, that's
Still
fair.
in the game. Her ally was taken out. And I mean, I get that. And I see why he was. Omer is playing a brilliant game. And yes, he took Roxray out for a reason. And I do not believe that it had anything to do with his skin color. Mike went after Chanel because she lied. And we talked about this earlier.
Of course.
Okay.
Nope.
Mike,
Yep.
like, oh, he stubs his toe because somebody left a rock in front of his foot. He's like, you're out.
He would.
So,
He would. He'd be like, "Did you put that rock there? Tell me right now. Tell me right now, and I won't be mad." And then in his talking head, 3 seconds later, they're dead to me. They're
I've
dead to
had
me.
it
Yeah.
said to me, he's gone. I'm gonna get him. So yeah, that's why I believe Chanel and Roxroy are sitting there. I absolutely respect and loved what Marianne said.
Oh, okay. So right before we get to what Marianne said, because Drea decides in that moment when Jeff asks her, she's like, "I have to start playing hard now.
Yeah,
This is I have now found like a kind of like motivation, I would say would be the best word for
yeah,
it." And she
yeah,
just flat out tells everyone sitting down, being like, "I've got an idol in my bag. I'm going to use it because I want to
yeah.
make it one more vote." And she said she didn't want to do it because of race. She's like, "I'm not letting this racial discussion we're all having right now make anybody that's, feel bad for me and let me off the hook."
And yet she
And
started it.
what?
She started the racial thing.
Oh, I'm see, I know she voted for Chanel, but I do think Chanel's an issue.
Well,
But I think Marianne and Drea can kind of be, maybe I wouldn't be surprised if they both make it to top six. I think they are realizing slower than what Danny and Shan and Liana like
okay,
all realized that season. They realized, hey, we should do an all black alliance really early, right at the merge. And this
okay, the
season, it
list.
takes her voting out Chanel and then seeing Roxbury there for Drea to be like, whoa, whoa, we got to deal with
At
this.
at the risk of sounding, and you know what? I'm going to say something here, and if people don't like it, please hate me. I don't even care right now. I think Drea thought very quick on her feet. I think she played her idol and said what she said in order to get Marianne to play her idol in support, knowing that she still had three things and she can still take Mike's idol. I think she played it very smart.
If I see a talking head explaining that or some sort of post game interview or something where she's like, I knew exactly what I was doing, I'd
You're
be
going to buy me.
like, that's pretty good. That's dead grandma level territory. I game respects game. Like, okay, I got you. That'd be Whew,
I mean, there's your
that'd be
ally
nuts.
sitting. There's your ally sitting. What better way to get jury votes?
That's a good point. That's a very good point. She still has. Oh wow. No, no. Now that I think about it, I just want to know it's intentional. I wanted to know it's intentional and not impulsive. That's what I want to know.
And if I'm
So,
wrong,
so
I'll
one
wear that.
thing. Sorry, do you want to say what Marianne said, or like, because I really
Oh,
like
go
what
ahead.
Marianne
Go
said.
ahead. I cannot remember the whole speech, but it
So
was good.
Marianne essentially talks about because Jonathan, oh, Jonathan, he decides to open his mouth because Marianne and Drea decide we're going to play our idols because we don't want race to be a thing. We're going to take these off the table. And we've made a big deal. Like, I want the people watching at home to, understand that we're taking a stand here. And Jonathan immediately kind of gets offended, which I can, on a certain level, understand, where he's like, are you calling me racist? I'm not
Well,
racist. And I
I
don't believe Jonathan is. And Drea and Marianne kind of remind him of that. They're like, no, no, we love you. We don't think you're racist. And they started talking about subliminal, and Marianne makes this fantastic point where she's like, when you start the game, it's 1 in 18 shot. Jeff says at the beginning of every season, you have a 1 in 18 shot of winning Survivor. And then she says, some people it's a 1 in 22. For some people, it's a 12 and 18, all depending on your prejudices versus old people, young people, like any sort of discrimination you can think of can alter those odds. And
yes,
I thought that was a very good answer because it was very, I don't want to say generic because it wasn't, because it covered everything, but
yes, it did.
it was concise at the same point. Like,
Yes,
Marianne didn't just talk for 10 minutes straight.
which kind of surprised me because she normally just does a lot of this.
So is that part of a thing? Did she just was she just focused in that moment where she's like, I'm like, is everything Marianne does a bit? Because every now and then she lets the veil drop and she's like, actually, I'm pretty smart. And everyone's like, who are you? So this
Okay,
was a moment where I was like, you could be in final three and you could get some votes right now.
I can't wait for next week because I think you're going to see a talking head with her going, yeah, yeah,
She's
they
already
they
admitted to
know
using
about
her
it,
emotions to
right?
manipulate people before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, then what happens in tribal? Drea, okay, is so upset. Jeff gives them the option
Oh,
to not go up and vote. If that's too stressful, basically, is what he's saying, we can just do it right here. Okay. Because, oh, and Jonathan then pipes up with, so we just sit here and vote and they're playing their idols. And Jeff pipes in, if they want to, they can. Okay. So Marianne and Drea, here, Jeff. Jeff's like, yep, they're good. So now we have Marianne, Drea, Jonathan, all with idols.
all safe.
So all safe. And now we're just going to have a discussion. And Jeff says to Lindsay, well, how do you feel? She's like, well, it's me or Tori. And I'm really hoping that you'll keep me. And Tori is like, well, wait a sec. Because the three at that point are like, oh, yeah, Lindsay, we're keeping you. And Tori's
Jonathan
like,
leans in. They all have the
Tori's
conversation,
like,
and Jeff is like, "It doesn't seem like anyone's talking in your ear, Tori."
all right. So it's basically decided, that Tori is going to go. And Tori's like, well, I'm
Tori
going to
has
go
a
play my.
question for the group, though, which normally only gets asked by a jury member in the last episode, which is bold. Like,
What
I
was it?
don't think there's been a single, like, I would love to, if I'm totally wrong and the number's like 9, tell me about it down below. but I don't think there's been a Survivor player before their torch got snuffed that was actually able to ask everyone that voted them out why.
I
Normally,
know,
that's a
right?
jury member thing, or like after the
Yeah.
season's over and you're just good friends and you call them up.
Well,
But
I think she was trying to save her life, but I mean, they all came up with stuff, and she was like, "Well, yeah,
do you
hmm,
think that's going to influence
yeah."
her jury vote? Because
I don't
like
know, but the
technically,
funny
that's
part was,
giving a jury member a lot of information that a jury member doesn't always necessarily have. So
I thought that Tori had 9 lives, and I thought that when she went up and played her shot in the dark, it was going to say, "You're safe."
I was so waiting.
I
Yeah.
was very surprised that it didn't. I still think that "You're safe" might happen this season.
You think it's going to
Too
happen this
many people,
season?
too many people have played the shot in the dark. They're putting too much emphasis on it for it not to. That's what
So
I think.
So would you argue if it doesn't happen this season, they would have edited it like out of this whole season and it would just be a thing they wouldn't bring back and they just wouldn't
Oh
edit
no, I
the
think
shot in the
it's.
dark?
I think it's going to stay. I think it's going to happen this season.
Oh, I hate the shot in the dark.
Yeah. Anyway,
Unless it saves Jonathan or Omer, and then the shot in the dark is the greatest thing ever invented. Thank you very much, Jeff, or Mr. Jeff, if you will. God, I love
all
hearing that.
right.
Mr. Jeff gets great.
I'm not sure why I'll listen to you, but yeah, okay.
Did you also notice like Roxroy what he thinks happened when he was on the jury, like in between the tribes coming in and out? He leans over to Chanel and he's like, Romeo and I got together. They got me out.
I
That's what they
hope
did.
they freeze.
I hope they freeze. And I was like, Roxroy, you still don't know what's going on. You have
Still
no idea it was Omer the whole time. He has no idea.
no idea.
Do you think anyone is going to get to Ponderosa, which I don't want to get into it for too long. No Ponderosa episodes this year. Very sad. Very sad. But do you think anyone's gonna tell Roxroy? Omer got you out? Do you think do you think Roxroy is just gonna give Omer a vote because Roxroy
Oh
is
no,
just
because
so in the dark?
Roxroy is going to do the same thing. Oh wait, Tori's going. Does Tori even know really?
I don't think so. I don't
Okay,
think so.
Roxroy is going to be Roxroy at Ponderosa, and yeah, no, he's not going to find out forever.
So as soon as you see the not safe from Jeff, did you notice Roxroy's little fist bump to to Chanel? He's like, "Oh,
Well, he
Lindsay's
doesn't
safe.
like her.
Lindsay's safe.
And I'm
Tori's
thinking,
out."
oh
And he
man, now
does a
you
little like,
spend more
yes.
time with
Like
her.
I Oh man. Okay. So yeah, Tori goes home. I also have a note in here that just says Tori's eye rolls are just perfect because she notices it's just her and she's like does this
Yeah,
like clueless sort
yeah,
of valley
yeah,
girl like eye roll. It's impressive.
yeah. But okay, yeah,
So I mean, episode over. Tori goes home. Tori and Roxroy are on the jury, which is kind of, I wouldn't say my silver lining, but I'm glad they're out of the game. But I'm glad I still get to see them on my
I know.
screen. Like Tori's
I
gonna
know.
have more eye rolls on the jury, right?
Oh, definitely.
Right? Like Drea's gonna say something and Tori's gonna be like,
Right?
or like, oh my god. Okay.
I hear you.
So anything else you got to add before we get into kind of the last bit of the episode? Um really quickly, just your top 3. Has your top 3 changed at all?
My top three. My top
Because my
three.
top 3 is changed by 1 and it's just 2 people have switched.
Who you
Actually,
had?
I had
Omar,
who?
John, Omar, John, and Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 of them had changed by 1 position. Yeah.
Okay. I have Drea, Lindsay, Mike, and 2 of mine have changed.
Okay, so with mine, Omer is still number 1, right? I have Omer at number 1.
Yep.
Jonathan at number 2.
Yep.
Jonathan and Mike have switched. I think Jonathan has had a leg kicked out from under him, and I think Mike is still working with 3 legs. I think Jonathan's still trying to balance on 2. Yeah.
Okay, on mine, I had Drea as 1, Lindsay is 2, and Mike is 3. Lindsay is now 1.
Lindsay is now 1?
Yep. Mike is 2. And Drea is 3.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Now, my dark horse was Roxroy.
Gotcha.
So obviously, that's not an option anymore. So my dark horse now is Marianne.
My dark horse is now Marianne as well.
Still Marianne?
Yeah, still Marianne.
All right.
Yeah. Tonight was an episode where I was like, oh, hold on. Oh my god. Okay. So yeah, Marianne's still my dark pick, but I tried to close the window really quick because I always research what the next title of next week's episode is.
Oh yeah, don't open any windows you don't need to.
Do you want to hear it? It's so good.
All right, go.
Tell a good lie, not a stupid lie. That's the title of next week's episode. Tell a good lie, not a stupid lie. Oh, when I hear not a stupid lie, I picture someone being like, oh, I've got a girlfriend. Oh, what's your girlfriend's name? Oh, it's Table Cherson. It's like, come on. Like, that's a stupid lie. So I'm curious what the stupid lie is going to be. Where it's like, oh man, it's great. Okay. So hold on, we gotta what? We're gonna call it right here for the end, and then we'll save that for the extra stuff.
Yeah, but talk amongst yourselves. I need to visit my little girl's room.
Okay, then we will peace out for everyone on YouTube, and yeah, we will see you back next week, where we will try and figure out who tells a not good lie and who tells a stupid lie. So we'll be back next Sunday. Have a good day.